الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. So just a quick recap of the things that we have covered so far. So we are discussing a word in Arabic which may have a meaning and may not have a complete meaning on its own. So the one that has complete meaning is of two types. If they're bound to time, this is called a fi'l, which is a verb. And if they are unbound, it is called ism. And the one that does not give complete meaning, although it has a meaning, but it does not convey it properly without being attached to another word, is called harf. We've been discussing ism, which is noun, and we say there are certain signs looking at a kalima or a word which may hint to its being a noun. For example, at the beginning, before the ism, you may have a harf jar, a preposition. You may have al before it. So any word that has al at the beginning, which is the counterpart in Arabic, is a noun. Likewise, if you call upon someone to say, oh, so-and-so, so that would be a noun as well. In the middle, there is a diminutive, and we'll cover that in detail. And likewise, at the end, you may find certain signs like tanween, the nation, two of each of the designation marks, like dhammatan, fathatan, or kasratan. And you may have a tathniya or jam'a, which is dual or plural form. That will be with ism only. Then we looked at ism or noun from four different aspects, whether this is singular or plural or dual. Is it ma'rifa or nakira? Is it mudhakkar or muannas? And which case is it in? Marfu', mansub, or majroor? Ma'rifa, there are certain subtypes. We covered some of them. Dhamir, which is a pronoun, huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, which is detached pronoun. We've covered them. That is a type of definite noun. Likewise, a proper noun given to someone, ismul alam, relative pronoun, or indicative pronoun, ismul ishara, ismul mawsul, mu'arraf bil lam, any nakira which is being made into ma'rifa by adding al at the beginning, and mudaf ila ma'rifa. And likewise, nakira is of two types, ismus that or ismus sifa. That, the being, the essence, and sifa is the attribute. And when you put two nouns together, you can get a compound, and that compound could be a complete sentence, which is called murakkab tam or jumla, or it could be a naqis, a defective or incomplete compound. And there are several types of it. For example, mawsuf sifa combination, which is called murakkab tawsifi, or adjectival phrase or compound. First part is called mawsuf. Second part, which is noun as well, is called sifa. Ma'rifa and ma'rifa, it has to be corresponding to each other. So mawsuf or man'ud is the other name for the same mawsuf. The one being described with the description. So description comes after. As in English, you would say a black car, a tall tree. So tall, which is, or black, which is the attribute, comes first. And the thing which is being described comes afterwards. In Arabic, it is opposite. Sorry, I said same way. It is opposite in Arabic. So you have your description after. The one being described comes first. So you would say mawsuf comes first. So you would not say a black car. You would say a car, a black. And you have to make it both nakira, or the black car. So both should be ma'rifa. Mudhakkar, if it's mudhakkar, that should be mudhakkar as well. Likewise, their number and their declension should correspond to each other, except for one group, which is if it is a plural of unintelligent being. That is taken as a jama'ah. Jama'atun in Arabic is a feminine singular word. Hence, the mawsuf, if the mawsuf is jama ghair aqil, the sifa would be feminine singular. Okay. Then we said with regards to numbers, each noun by default is considered a masculine noun unless there are signs or hints to suggest that this is masculine. For example, the name and attributes of a feminine person, name of a female, Maryam, Zainab, or the attribute arus, being bride, widow. So these are attributes of a female. Likewise, certain signs on the noun itself, so rounded ta at the end, Salihah, Sa'a, Aisha, Fatima, Hafsa, Ammara. So all those rounded ta at the end are sign of it being feminine. Or alif maqsura. Alif maqsura is shortened alif. Uzma, Salma, Na'ma. And alif mamduda, alif and hamza. Sahra, Zahra. And the paired organs of the body. Yadun, Rijlun, Udhunun, Ainun. And the names of countries, places, and tribes. And there are certain simai which Arabs use as feminine, like nafs, hasn't got any sign to suggest this is feminine. Shams, there's no way you could understand that. Nar, I mean, there's a way, but we leave that for the advanced level, which is that if you get their diminutive or their jama mukassar, you would find out that they are feminine. But leave that for the time being. Just consider that how Arabs use it as feminine. With regards to number, we said, unlike many other languages, there's no singular plural only, but singular and dual and plural. Wahid, tathniya, and jama. Wahid or mufrad, tathniya, dual or musanna, and then jama, which is plural. And jama is of two types, mukassar and salim. Mukassar is broken, where the structure of the actual word is being changed. And salim is when you just add something right at the end. So mu'annath and mudhakkar. For mu'annath, you would add atun, atin, atin. For mudhakkar, you add una, ina, ina. For tathniya, you add ani, aini, aini. In that order, marfu, mansub, and majrur respectively. And for wahid, you generally have tanween, as you would have in jama mukassar. And then we said if the murakkab gives complete meaning, it becomes a sentence, jumla. And there are two types, jumla ismiya, jumla fi'liya. Jumla ismiya is a nominal sentence, fi'liya that starts off with a verb. Jumla ismiya has two parts as well, mubtada, khabar. Mubtada is the subject and khabar is the predicate. You're describing, you're explaining something, you're giving some information about the subject. Now we discussed murakkab idafi. The first part is called mudaf, second part is called mudaf ilay. Mudaf, the first part, cannot take tanween or al. Mudaf ilay is always in majroor state. Nothing can interpose in between these two. If you wanted to add a sifa of mudaf, for example, it has to come after mudaf ilay. And there could be more than one mudaf and mudaf ilay. So first, second, third, fourth, four noun together. First one would be mudaf, second would be mudaf ilay. Then the second would be mudaf to the next one. So mudaf to the next one and mudaf ilay of the previous one. Likewise, the third one would be mudaf to the second one and mudaf ilay for the second one and mudaf to the next one. This is how it could continue. And you keep adding off. The color of the door of the car of the man or the son of the Amir of the country. So whatever, you can keep going like that, which happens in any language anyway. And then we started declension. So declension or inflection is the i'rab, the sign or the state of the last letter of the noun, last letter of the word, a kalima, whatever is the last bit doing, which state is it in? And that's the beauty of Arabic language. If you understand that, you can identify the role of the word. So there are certain, specific states that a word can be found in. So if something is in mansub state, it can only be these things, for example. If it is in marfu state, it can only be these things. And that is how you identify and translate properly. And that is why in Arabic, changing the order of the words does not change the meaning. There's one way which is better than other. It could be that, but it doesn't change the meaning. For example, in English, if you say so-and-so hit so-and-so, so Khalid hits Amr. So if you say that and you change the order, Amr hits Khalid, the subject would become object, or object would become subject. There's no way you can identify just by reading that noun on its own. In Arabic, you can use that word, and wherever you place it, it would give the clear hint whether this is a subject or the object. So you would say, ضرب زيد عمرا or خالدا. So Zaid hit Khalid. And if you put in whichever order, you can say Zaidun daraba Khalidan, same meaning. Khalidan Zaidun daraba. Khalidan daraba Zaidun. Whichever way you write it, obviously there'll be some ways are better than others, but it does not change the meaning. And that's the most important aspect of the language. One of the most important aspects, you could say. So each of these words do show their declension, their inflection, their i'rab. Some show it properly, some don't show at all. Some show halfway, some show fully. So those who do not show any change on them, although they decline, but they don't show it, they are called غير منصرف. Oh, sorry, they are called mabni. They're called mabni. They're firmly fixed. And when it comes to those who show, if they show completely, they're called munsarif. If they show a little bit or some of it, they're called غير منصرف. غير منصرف because they cannot show tanween, even if they had tanween, and they cannot show kasra, even if they had kasra. The kasra would be denoted by a fatha. So these are the signs you would see in a غير منصرف. Umar, for example, is غير منصرف. Uthman is غير منصرف. Abu Bakr and Ali are munsarif. All the female names of the companion Fatima, Aisha, Khadija, they're all غير منصرف. They would only have dhamma, fatha, and fatha for majrur state as well. Unlike certain other names like Hindun, they are Arabic names, so they could just take a declension without any trouble. So they're fully expressed. They would express their marks on them. So Hindun, Hindan, Hindin. Likewise, sometimes they do this with ani, aini, aini for tathniya. Una, ina, ina. So these are the ways how they do. And then we touched upon Asma'i Sitta Mukabbara, 6 nouns which have slightly different way and different style of showing their declension. So Abun, the brother, Akhun, father, Abun is father, brother is Akhun, Akhi, as you say, Famun, Fu, Hamun, Hanun, and Zu. So these 6, Fu and Famun, are the same thing. So sometimes they are mudaf and sometimes they are not mudaf. So if they are mudaf, then they have different ways. So what you do, if you have, for example, mufrad. So the problem with dhu, if it's mufrad on its own, it always come with a mudaf ilay. They always come with a mudaf ilay. Means they would never be without a mudaf ilay. So dhu, for example, and for female it would be that. So dhu, dha, thi, the one who possesses something. So dhu malin, the one with mal. Dhu khuluqin, the one with good akhlaq, good manners. So dhu and mansub state would be dha. Majrur would be dhi quwwah, the one with power. It doesn't make any difference to the meaning, but I just gave you different examples. So this is marfu, dhu, dha, mansub, and dhi, majrur. For female, it would be dhatu, dhata, dhati. So dhu becomes dhatu, dhati, dhata, or dhati. Marfu, mansub, and majrur. Okay. And all the rest, they would be abun, aban, abin, akhun, akhan, akhin, famun, faman, famin, like this. And then you have, if they are mudaf to yai mutakallim. If they're mudaf to, ya mutakallim. Ya mutakallim means mine, my brother, my sister, my everything. So if you want to say that, my father, so all 6 of them, only zu would not take my, because it takes mudaf, mudaf ilayh. It is a singular word on its own, a particle you could call. So abu, aba, abi, akhu, akha, akhi, like this. Okay, you just add for ya mutakallim, akhi, abi, hami. And if they're other than them, then you say fuhu, his mouth, akhaka, your brother, abina, my father, our father. With ism Abu Bakr, Hama Hafsa, Hafsa's brother-in-law, Fami Zaydin, in Majrur state, the mouth of Zayd. So this is how it would be. But with practice, inshallah ta'ala, it will become a bit more clear. So these 6 have slightly different rules compared to others. Saying the same thing again, abun, aban, abin, akhun, akhan, akhin, famun, faman, famin, like this. And if you make it mudaf to, ya mutakallim is mine. So it is saying my something. So abi, my father, akhi, my brother, like this, okay? And if you want to make it mudaf ila ism, any other ism, any noun, so you would say Ja'a Abu Bakr, mudaf, mudaf ilayh, Abu Bakr came, Akhu Hamid, Ja'a Akhu Hamid, brother of Hamid came, father of Bakr came. Ra'aytu Aba Bakr, I saw Aba Bakr, marfu. This was marfu here in Ja'a, the first group. Here it becomes mansoob with alif. Aba, I saw Aba Bakr, I saw Akha Hamid, Hamid's brother. Marartu bi, I went past Abi Bakr. Ba is harf jar, it would make Abu into Abi state, majrur state. I walk past Abu Bakr. Okay. Abi, marartu bi Abi Bakr. Ba makes it into majrur state. Marartu bi Akhi Hamidin. So this is how it would change when it is mudaf ila ism, any noun. And if it is with dhamir, you're making it mudaf to dhamir. So abuhu, his father, akhuha, her brother, fuka, your mouth, abahu, akhaha, faka, like this. So this is how it would go. Okay, marfu, mansub, majrur state. Dhamir would be attached or sometimes separate with waw and alif. Ya, you would just attach it. And if you look at mufrad and mudaf again here, so if you want to say abun, aban, abin, and tathniya is abawani, abawaini, abawaini. Jama salim, you don't have it, but you have jama mukassar, aba'un, aba'an, aba'in. If you make it ma'rifa, you just add al, and al, any word that has al cannot take tanween. You just have to change tanween into one of those signs. So al-abu, al-aba, al-abi. Okay. Al-abawani, al-abawaini, al-abawaini, al-aba'u, al-aba'a, al-aba'i. So again, tanween goes into single decline. It's in single designation mark. And if you wanted to make it into mudaf, so mudaf to a noun. So Abu Waladin, father, the father of the boy. Aba Waladin, mansub state. Abi Waladin, same way, majrur state. Yeah. Abawa Waladin. The 2 fathers mean parents. 2 fathers mean they refer to 2 mom and dad both. So abawani, you drop the noon because it is mudaf, and this noon is actually in place of tanween. So you would not say abawani waladin, you would say abawa waladin. Like yada abi lahabin. Yadani becomes yada. Abawai waladin, 2 fathers means parents of the boy. Abawai waladin, masub and majrur state are the same. Aba'u awladin, father of the children. Aba'u, aba'a awladin, mansub. Aba'i awladin, majrur. Abu Dharrin, Abu Dhar, Abu Abadhar, Abi Dhar. Abawahum, if you wanted to make it into dhamir, their father. Abawayhim, abawayhim. Aba'ukum, aba'akum, aba'ikum. So marfu mansuban, majrur state in broken plural form. So this is all different forms how you use it. Okay. And with dha, dhu, dhi, this is how it comes. Dha, marfu is dhu, dha, dhi. Dhawani, dhawaini, dhawaini. Mansub, marfu, mansub, majrur. Dhavuna, dhavina, dhavina. Marfu, mansub, majrur, jama. And for feminine, ذات ذات ذات, ذواتان ذواتين ذواتين, ذوات ذوات ذوات. So this is how it would go with ذو, and it always come with in the mudaf ilayh construction. So there'll be mudaf ilayh after that. Saying the same thing. This is what they're highlighting. Singular feminine, which is ذاتun ذاتين ذاتين, is constructed as sound plural feminine. This is how they do. Memorize it or remember it. And again, this is done as tathniya. Okay, ani, aini, aini. Likewise, ani, aini, aini, dawatani, dawataini, dawataini. And jama, this goes like una, ina, ina. Okay, you know, jama, mudhakkar, salim. And this one is like broken plural. Usually, where this is broken plural. Zatun becomes zawatun. You added wow there. That's why you cannot have luxury of making it into, muannas like this one, because you've changed and inserted something in between. Okay, these are Quranic ayat. Let's review them. Abuna shaykhun kabir. Our father is an old man, shaykhun kabir. So Abu is marfu and it is ma'rifa because it's mudaf ila ma'rifa. Na is dhamir and that dhamir is ma'rifa. Mudaf Abu, mudaf ilay na, our father. And it is mudhakkar and it is wahid. And na is jama, is mudhakkar muannas both because na goes for both. So first part Abu is mudaf, na is mudaf ilay. And together it becomes mubtada, our father is shaykhun kabir. This is nakira. Shaykhun is mawsuf, kabirun is sifa. Mawsuf sifa. This is what Yusuf alayhi salam's brother said. Okay, they correspond to each other. Shaykhun kabirun in all four respects. Hence, this is mawsuf sifa combination. Okay, the mubtada khabar, jumla ismiya completed. وجعل السقاية في رحل أخيه, and he put the goblet in the luggage of his brother. So, waw harfi ataf, and it means and. Ja'ala madi maruf. Where is the fa'il? The doer is huwa. So he did. Who is he? Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. As-siqayah maf'ul. So jumla fi'liya. So fi rahli akhi, in the harf jar, fi rahl mudaf, akhihi mudaf ilay, and he is mudaf ilay as well of akhi. Okay, so rahli akhi, his brother's luggage. Okay, and these are all mutallaqat with ja'ala. Okay, fi rahli akhihi, jar majroor together. So akhihi is in majroor state because this is in mudaf ilay, which is always majroor. Allahu dhul fadl al-azim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dhul fadl al-azim. See, zu always come as mudaf ilay. Mawsuf sifa together become the majroor of dhu al-fadl al-azimi. Mawsuf sifa together with this becomes a khabar. Allah is of gracious, great graciousness, great generosity. Okay, you work out this. Inna abana lafi dhalalin mubin, which state this one is. ذي القرنين يسألونك عن ذي القرنين إذ قال لهم أخوهم نوح ألا تتقون. So remember the Zawata Afnan. What is this? Which state? Okay, that's your homework. Okay, here you could see we are adding lan to mudari. So mudari, you remember from abada was ya'budu, ya'budani, ya'buduna, ta'budu, ta'budani, ya'budna, ta'budu, ta'budani, ta'buduna, ta'budina, ta'budani, ta'budna, a'budu, na'budu. So if you add lan before it, lan changes it into mudari, number one. It changes it into mansub state. Mansub is that ya'budu becomes ya'buda. And if there was a noon i'rabi, noon of declension, you have to drop it because that is in place of tanween and you cannot keep it with mansub state or majzoom state. And if there was noon niswa, which is of femininity, noon of femininity, that stays. So you would say lan ya'buda, lan ya'buda, lan ya'budu, lan ta'buda, lan ta'buda, lan ya'budna. لن تعبد لن تعبدا لن تعبدوا لن تعبدي لن تعبدا لن تعبدنا لن أعبد لن نعبد. So what it would do, it would change the mudare from being positive to negative. So lan means never ever. He would never ever worship. And so that is the meaning which changes. And another change happened with regards to its being specific now to future. He would never do, he will never do. So you can't now translate this into a present form, although mudare has both meaning. Mudare could be present or future. But when you add lan, it becomes specific to future. No present meaning would be taken from it now. And it would make it into negative. Okay, so you would see the signs change in the mansub state. And how do you identify mansub in mudari or in fi'l? You would see that the dhamma becomes fatha, and those with noon i'rabi would have their noon i'rabi dropped. Like lan ya'budani, you drop the noon. Lan ya'buduna, you drop the noon. So both of those remove the noon. Lan ta'budani, drop the noon. Lan ta'budani, drop the noon. Lan ta'budina, drop the noon. Okay. Lan ta'buduna, drop the noon. But this one, the feminine noon, this is not noon i'rabi. This is not the noon i'rabi. So they don't drop. Lan ya'budna, lan ta'budna. All female, third person, all female, second person. You do not drop that noon. All the rest of the noons will be dropped. Okay. And if you added lam, lam is the one that gives a jazm. Jazm means it will become a silent letter. Silent. Ya'budu become lam ya'bud, as opposed to ya'buda. With lan, it was ya'buda. So it became, with lan, it became mudari specific to future. Very specific to future. You can't translate into present. But with lam, it is opposite. It would go into madi. Although mudari has a meaning of present or future, but lam will change it into madi, in the past now. So lam ya'budu. Lam ya'budu become lam ya'bud, means he did not worship. So first change is in the meaning from being positive to negative. So lam would make it into a negative change, as the lan would do. Lan made it into mudare future specific. Lam would make this mudare into madi specific. You can't translate it into future or present anymore. It would be madi only. And again, you would make it into jazmi state, which is the apparent change. That would be lam ya'bud. With lan, you were making it lan ya'buda with fatha, mansub state. Here, you would make it into jazm, silent state, lam ya'bud. And wherever there is noon i'rabi, you would drop that. Lam ya'buda, noon drops. Here, you would drop the noon there. Ya'buduna becomes lam ya'budu. Again, noon of Tasniya drops, noon of Jama, which is mu'annas. This noon is that of mu'annas. It doesn't drop. It stays the way it is. And you can't change anything about it. Lam ta'bud, for this one, see, dal dhamma changes into jazm. Lam ta'buda, again you drop the noon. You drop the noon. Lam ta'budu, lam ta'budi, you drop the noon. Lam ta'buda, lam ta'budna. So that is feminine. Noon, it stays there. Lam a'bud, lam na'bud. Okay. And what if you add a noun to the dhamir? Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. You add baytun before it. So if you want to read these two together, how would you do? Baytun huwa. It will become baytuhu, baytuhuma, baytu hum, baytuha, not here, baytuha, her house, baytuhuma, baytuhunna, those women's house, بيتك, your house. بيتكما, you two men, your house. بيتكم, you all men, your house. أنت, you. So بيتك, 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 أنت. Okay. بيتكما, or female, your house, or to female, your house. أنتم. بيتكن, أنتن, بيتكن. Or female, your house. Female, feminine. And plural. So أنا بيت and أنا becomes بيتي. بيت and نحن becomes بيتنا. بيتنا, our house. So this is how it becomes مضاف مضاف إليه. مضاف and then the ضمير pronoun will become مضاف إليه. Okay. Let's go on to كتاب الأساسي. So الكلمات الجديدة, new words. أين, where, كم, how many, إيجار, rent, ألف, thousand, ريال, ريال, الشهر, the month, النوم, the sleep, مكان, place, الطعام, the food, استقبال, reception, نعم, yes, لا, no, هل, question mark, is, MR, was, were. أنا, I, أنت, you, or male, أنت, you, or female, هو, he, or men, he as in he, هي, she. Okay, they're just telling you how la, li, lu, which is easy how to write it. Some certain other words we just used. التدريب الثاني. أين السوق يا بكر? Where is the market? يا بكر أو بكر. السوق بعيد من البيت. It's far from the house. Something like that. كم شجرة في الحديقة? How many trees are there in the garden? في الحديقة 3 أشجار. 3 trees. I mean, you can have more or whatever. هل في البيت مكان استقبال? Is in the house a reception area? نعم في البيت مكان استقبال. أين القلم يا بكر? Where is the pen? أو بكر. القلم. Where is the قلم? على المكتب. On the table, on the desk. كم حجرة في البيت? How many rooms are there in the house? في البيت 5 حجرات. 5 rooms. هل البيت قريب من الحرم? Is the house close or near to the حرم? نعم البيت قريب من الحرم. أين المسجد يا بكر? Where is the masjid, O بكر? المسجد قريب من البيت. كم كراسة في الحقيبة? How many copies, notebooks are there in the bag? في الحقيبة, in the bag. كراستان are 2 books, 2 notebooks, 2 copies. كراستان تثنية. هل السوق بعيد عن البيت? Is the market far away from the house? نعم السوق بعيد عن البيت. Or لا السوق قريب عن البيت, or whatever. أين البيت يا بكر? Where is the house, O بكر? البيت قريب من المسجد. كم وسادة في الحجرة? How many pillows are there in the house? في الحجرة 4 وسادة. 4 pillows. 2 on each side maybe. هذه الحديقة أمام البيت. Is the garden in front of the house? نعم أمام البيت حديقة واسعة. A big garden or park. التدريب الرابع. They're teaching us how do you say أنا, I, أنا بكر. You say ana, whoever. From masculine, from feminine, say same. Ana Khadija. I am Khadija. I am Bakr. Anta, you. Anta Bakr. Anti for feminine. Anti Khadija. Female, anti. Anta, you. And female, anti. Huwa, he. Hiya Khadija. Huwa Bakr. Hiya Khadija. Okay, answer نعم or لا. هل المسجد قريب من البيت? Is the masjid near the house? نعم المسجد قريب من البيت. هل أنت مدرس? Are you a teacher? Say لا أنا طبيب. I am a doctor. هل أنت طبيب? Are you a doctor? نعم أنا طبيب. هل أنت ضابط? Are you an officer? لا أنا طبيب. هل البيت قريب من العيادة? Is the house near the surgery? Near the clinic? نعم البيت قريب من العيادة. عيادة clinic. هل أنت رجل مرور? Are you the man of traffic? Means the traffic warden? لا أنا طبيب. So you can come up with some new questions about the same thing, about house, about place, about how many rooms, نعم لا نعم لا type questions. You can make up some of those inshallah ta'ala. Okay, let's do قصص النبيين إلى يعقوب. So the brothers now return back to يعقوب عليه السلام. وتحير الإخوة. تحير يتحير تحير حيرت. So the brothers, al-ikhwatu is plural of akhun. So the brothers were surprised. كيف يرجعون إلى أبيهم? How would they return to their father? Because you remember they promised that they would bring Binyamin. Obviously they cannot now because he was found to have king's picture in his stuff. So obviously he's concerned, the brothers are concerned, he's been taken as a prisoner now and they have to return back. So they keep thinking, they're completely, stunned by that. وَفَكَّرَ الْإِخْوَةُ. So the brothers thought, ماذا يقولون? What would they say? لأبيهم, to their father. أبيهم is majrur, it says abun akhun, yeah, أبيهم, their father, أبيهم in majrur because of li. Li is harf jar, preposition. Li abihim, to their father. Innahum faja'uhu amsi fi Yusuf. Indeed, he was upset yesterday. Innahum faja'uhu means they've caused trouble. Faja'uhu, they have caused pain. They've caused trouble to him yesterday fi Yusuf, with regards to Yusuf alayhi salam. أفيفجعونه اليوم في بنيامين? Are they going to give him trouble or torture him, hurt him today with Binyamin? أما كبيرهم. So as regards the big of them, the biggest of them, the oldest of them, the oldest one, the eldest brother, فأبى, he refused أن يرجع, that he returns إلى يعقوب, he refused to return to Yaqub alayhi salam. وقال لإخوته, and he said to his brothers, Irji'u ila abikum, return to your father. Faqulu, and you will say to him, Ya abana, O our father, inna ibnaka, indeed your son, ibnaka, your son, saraq, has stolen. Your son stole. Wama shahidna, and we did not witness illa, except for bima alimna, what we know. Wama kunna, and we were not lil ghaybi hafidhin, the protector of the unseen. We don't know what happened. We were not there. We did not witness it. We were just told whatever we were told, and we were not there to protect when we were not present there. Walamma sami'a Yaqub, when Yaqub alayhi salam heard al-qissata, the qissa, this is a story, alima, he knew, anna lillahi yadan fi dhalik. Indeed, Allah has some hand in it, means Allah's plan. This is Allah's plan about it. Wa anna Allah mumtahinuhu, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the tester, is examining, is testing him. Amsi fudi'a fi Yusuf. Yesterday he was given or tested, he was hurt with Yusuf, with regards to Yusuf. وَالْيَوْمَ يُفْجَعُ فِي بِنْيَامِينَ. And today he's been given pain and trouble with regards to, he's going to mourn the loss of Binyamin today. Inna Allah, indeed Allah, la yajma'u alayhi musibatayn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would definitely not combine the two losses on him, two tribulation and two trials upon him. Inna Allah la yafja'uhu fi ibnayn. Indeed Allah will not trial him and give him a tough time with two sons. Inna Allah la yafja'uhu fi ibnayni ka Yusufa wa Binyamin. Indeed Allah will not test him or give him trouble with two sons like Yusuf and Binyamin. Inna lillahi fi dhalika yadan khafiyya. Indeed Allah has a subliminal hand in there, means something in between. Allah has got some idea about it. Allah wants to do something about it. Inna lillahi fi dhalika hikmatan makhfiyya. Indeed for Allah there is a hidden wisdom in it. Inna Allah lam yazal yamtahinu ibadahu. Indeed Allah always tests his slave. Thumma, then yasurruhum, he makes them happy. Wa yun'imu alayhim, and he favors upon them, he gives them a lot of favors and blessing. Thumma innal ibna al-kabira, and then what happened? The big brother, the big son, the oldest one who didn't return with them, baqiya fi Misra aydan, he stayed in the Egypt as well. Wa aba, and he refused an yarji'a ila Kana'an, to return to Canaan. أَفَيُفْجَعُ فِي الثَّالِثِ أَيْضًا. Is he going to be tested with the third son as well? وَقَدْ فُجِعَ مِنْ قَبْلُ فِي اثْنَيْنِ, and he has just been given the trial of two sons. إِنَّ هَذَا لَا يَكُونُ. Indeed this is not going to happen. وَهُنَا, and then at that point, اطمأن يعقوب, Yaqub alayhi salam became tranquil, he became calm. وقال, and he said, Asallahu an ya'tiyani bihim jami'a. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, perhaps Allah will bring them all back to me. Innahu huwa al-alim al-hakim. Indeed, he is the most knowledgeable and wise. Inshallah, we leave it there. It's time for Maghrib now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.